What up, good people? We getting ready to get started. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to come on in and tune into this live because there's an FBA, which is a foundational Black American. We need to have a conversation, and I just want to thank my YouTube audience really quick. I just want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel. I just want to thank just everybody that's been a part of what I do here. And I'm going live now on my TikTok. And I'm just gonna give everybody a chance to come on in. But for the YouTube audience, I don't do a video like I do often because I am busy. I'm a busy man. I got a very busy schedule, and I do ministry outside of my work. I work a 9 to 5, but I work in the medical field, and that can get very hectic. But I appreciate everybody for taking the time to watch my videos. It means a lot to me, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. But I do these videos to inform people what's going on. I do these videos to let everybody know that me, as a child of God, God gives me things I need to say. God gives me things to tell people and address the audience. And it may come off, and I'm working on being a little bit more nicer and compassionate about what I talk about, but I apologize if it comes off offensive, but it needs to be said. Just like I'm addressing the Democratic Party. Now, I normally would address the Republicans, which I have recently with ICE. I've addressed Trump and Trump's behavior towards ICE agents. I felt that Trump should have been a little bit more lenient. Trump needs to tell these ICE agents to be more lenient on how they handle these situations with the migrants. I've expressed how I felt about that. But at the same time, too, I got to be honest. The Democrats ain't making things any easier right now. But we're going to get started because we all have seen what's been going on at Reverend Jessie Jackson's funeral over this past weekend. Okay, and his son has actually had a response video that I want to present. Now, I talked about what happened during the day of the funeral because I find it what happened with the Democrats with Obama, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden specifically. Okay, what they did was very telling. And the Democrats have no respect for the black man. They just don't, especially a black man that's straight. They seem to care more about people that's in the LGBTQ than they do the heterosexual male. So I need the people to explain this. Because I said it in my video. What's up, D Calhoun 59? Thanks for tuning in. Susie, thank you. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in. Now, if those that saw my video on TikTok, for my TikTok audience, then you know what's up already. Right? But I want to show you, because the fact that Jessie Jackson Jr., his son, has told everybody specifically, don't bring your politics into my father's funeral. Because Jessie Jackson wants people to talk about the things that his father did on this earth while he was alive. He wants to talk about the good things that Jessie Jackson has done, not only for black Americans in this country, but the good things he's done for the community. That's what he wanted everybody to share. And Jessie Jackson Jr. even said that this funeral is for everybody. It don't matter if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're a liberal, socialist, whatever you represent, this is freedom for everybody. But for Barack Obama, when he said don't push politics, and yet you proceeded to start it off by going into a political, how you feel about the Republican politics to attack Trump, him, Al Sharpton, all of them. I'm going to be addressing all of them individually. Okay? And I'm going to start with Jasmine Crockett too. I'm going to start off with her because people need to understand why she lost. Because it's real obvious. All right? But let me play y'all a sound bite from Jessie Jackson Jr. because he went off on the Democrats, and rightfully so. Because I felt that was just like, come on now, man. Like, that was very, very, very alarming. And it was condescending at the same time. Like, man, like Jessie Jackson, again, when you at a funeral, at a homegoing service, you talk about the memory and you celebrate the life of that person. Nobody wants to hear about Trump. That had nothing to do with Trump. Nobody wants to hear about the Republicans like that. Like, no. And I can guarantee you, I'm going to just say this before I continue. If Trump had shown up at that funeral, whether he brings him, Tulsi Gabbard, Robert F. Kennedy, or even J.D. Vance, if they would have shown up, I can almost guarantee you money that Barack, none of them politicians, let alone Kamala Harris, would not be talking about Trump like that at all. They wouldn't. Not with Trump sitting right there in that front row. That would not have happened. They would have had a lot of issues. But they did that because they know Trump is busy with this Iran situation overseas, trying to get that taken care of. And by the way, I'm praying for the Middle East. I'm praying for the civilians of Iran because they are treated badly. They've been wanting this to happen. They've been wanting somebody to free them from that regime. Okay? There's a lot that's been going on. We've seen what's happening over there. My prayers for Iran right now, for the Middle East. But without further ado, let me just play you a soundbite. Okay? And this is public access. This is what's up, Ernest? Thanks for coming in. This is I'm not trying to get a strike or anything, right? This is fair use.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jessie Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message.
Let everybody come on in. Thanks for tuning in.
Those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice.
And I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all heard what he just said. He said individuals that did not present a solution to the problems. They didn't. Okay? See, people going to realize this. And see, over the last 5 years, or should I say 6 or 7 years now, I think we're going on 7 years now since 2020. Since Joe Biden defeated Trump, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to push my religion or my faith on anybody, but see, the Lord talks to me. I got the spirit of discernment, one of the gifts of the spirit. And when I'm in my prayer closet, y'all, me as a man of God, as a minister out here in these streets, who does a lot of work for my community, especially for the younger generation, God has told me some things about the Democratic Party. They have their own agenda in place. They don't care about other people's feelings. Y'all gonna all realize that. For the FBAs that continue to vote Democratic and you keep us in these issues. Y'all heard what Jessie Jackson Jr. said. That man said that there are people who disrespectfully, they decided that they didn't want to honor his best wishes. They had their own thing going on. They want to do what they wanted to do. Okay? And this goes back to why Jasmine Crockett did not beat James Tallarico. Let me also explain this too. Okay? And I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but it's very obvious. Jasmine Crockett just realized that the people that she been sticking up for, she been speaking on behalf, did not have her back. Where was these Somalian immigrants at when she was up there trying to get votes enough to try to win the Senate, the House Senate, to try to get up in there to represent Texas? Where were they? Where was the Renee Goods, her people? Because she did say, rest in peace, Renee Good, and we got to honor that. And she held ICE accountable, okay? I get all that. Despite that Renee Good broke the law, she got in the way of them ICE agents and them trying to stop an immigrant that was involved in sex trafficking. Okay, this has all been verified. She got in the way of their operation because ICE is still FBI. She got in the way of that operation, and she decided that Renee Good decided to break the law. Same thing with Alex Pretty, but she spoke up for Renee Good and even shed a tear. But this is what I understand about Jasmine Crockett. Okay? And this is also one of the reasons why there's black people that were also on the fence with this. Where was her tears? And where was her accountability for the immigrants that took the unalived Dakara Thompson? The ones who took the life of Linda Davis. You know that teacher for that was in her 50s? Who Lopez Mendez ran into on his run from the law, from ICE agents? Where was her tears at? She don't speak up for them at all. And this is the same Jasmine Crockett that I put on that ghetto persona, right? She acts ratchet. She does what she does, trying to appeal to the hood. But where was the people that Renee Good and her where was her protesters at? Why didn't they vote for her? Jasmine Crockett found out the hard way that she'll never be bigger than what she already is. And this is what I like about Jasmine Crockett, but Jasmine Crockett does not provide solutions to what's going on with FBAs, with our people that look like me. This is the same woman that spoke on behalf of defendant Ilhan Omar and what's going on in Minnesota while she was speaking up for Renee Good. And thanks to Nick Sheridan, we done found out the truth about Ilhan Omar and what the Somalians been doing over there. Now, I don't want to get too much into it, man, but we seen what's going on with that. You know, President Trump, he got to do what he got to do for the fairness of this country. But we can't have people with daycares, and we can't have a woman in Congress, a woman in politics that's got a winery and you're not having business open. We can't have that. Because this is what I understand about Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine knows this already, right? When it comes to black-owned businesses, especially what a foundational black Americans have, if we open up a daycare like the immigrants did in Minnesota that got exposed by Nick Shirley, right? We ain't got to be doing nothing wrong. We can have the very people that Renee Good defended will be the very ones trying to report us to the feds. Them be the very ones trying to snitch us and rat us out to the FBI to get us investigated. Let a foundational black American who looks like me open up a daycare. And they got maybe 5, 10 children in there. And they drive around with a nice car. A Benz, a Cadillac, a Beamer. You know, one of them Hummers. G-Wagon. Or even the Cybertruck. And they driving a car with all kinds of rims on it. And looking nice. They gonna assume, and they gonna racially profile us and stereotype us. They gonna assume we a drug dealer. They gonna assume we selling drugs, we doing trafficking inside this daycare center as a front. They gonna think we hiding a club in there. And we'll be the ones getting shut down. They'll raid not only our building, but they'll raid our home and arrest us like they did Diddy in broad daylight with him and his kids on the ground. That's what goes on with black-owned businesses. Because you got certain people and certain immigrants in here who are jealous of us. That Jasmine Crockett don't speak on behalf of. She don't stick up for them at all. In the last 5 years, especially when Joe Biden has been, and Joe Biden been president, Kamala Harris been vice president, and she was chosen to try to run as the main Democratic candidate against Trump in that election. You don't see Jasmine Crockett sharing no tears for the average black man and black woman that have lost their own businesses behind investigations, false allegations. No, she don't. She don't care. That woman is just a puppet. She did all this. She did all this butt kissing, behind kissing, going and doing all this and that. And where has it gotten her? That's my message to Jasmine Crockett. Where's he gotten you? Jasmine Crockett's obviously not speaking up for the black family at all. So there are certain black people. That's one of the reasons why she lost. Now all black Americans, black people in Texas are voting for her because they see right through her now. Again, she want to hold ICE accountable for unaliving civilians, but what about the immigrants like Lopez Mendez? Huh? Hugo Hernandez. What about them? That ICE has had to arrest because they committed a crime, violation. They took the lives of American civilians that did nothing to them. Where is her outrage? Why is she holding the immigrants accountable for crime? Again, it's one thing to hold ICE accountable, which I have myself. Because there was an ICE agent out here in California that took the unalived Keon Porter Jr. And that was on his off duty. Now, Keon Porter Jr., which is the brother that fired in the air during New Year's Eve, which you're not supposed to do. They tell you don't shoot no firearms in the air like you doing fireworks. You're not supposed to be doing that, but he did it. The ICE agent thought it was somebody attacking, for his life, and he took his life. He fired back in response. I didn't like that either, but notice, Jasmine Crockett didn't mention Keon Porter Jr. at all, or his family. Neither did you see Paul Burrson, and I'm going to get to him in another video, because him and Kaepernick are one and the same. I'm going to get to them, because they're like, Paul Burrson also got exposed. Because the Black Panthers told him he ain't allowed to represent them anymore. Which led to him switching to his party, which is the Black Lions. But I'm going to get to him in a separate video. But you don't see Jasmine Crockett share no tears for Keon Porter Jr. at all. A man with her skin color. Keon Porter Jr., y'all, was a black man. A black civilian that lost his life to an ICE agent in New Year's Eve last year. But we don't talk, the Democrats don't talk about him at all. It's Renee Good, it's Alex Pretty. And those were people that was actually instigating. They got an ICE way. Keon Porter Jr. was just mind his own business. Now, he did something crazy and stupid that he wasn't supposed to. He technically was breaking the law, but that was no excuse for taking his own life. And that ICE agent needs to be held accountable for that. That ICE agent needs to face justice for that. That's just in my opinion. But, nah. Where was Jasmine Crockett for Keon Porter Jr.? This is what I'm talking about. They want to honor the YT people, the Caucasian people that lost their life, but not the black man, not the black American, the FBA. We got a problem. We got an issue here. But they want to say that MAGA is racist, right? They want to say Trump and the people that voted for Trump is racist. We got an issue with that. That's my problem with Jasmine Crockett. This is why a lot of people are starting looking at her funny. Stephen A. Smith is starting to do this. There's a lot of people that's calling Jasmine Crockett out on this. And it's obvious. Okay? I'm going to be honest. It's real obvious that James Tallarico fits the image that they want over there. I'm going to be honest, man. He's a man that was adopted by an Italian family. So he fits the image. Don't get me wrong now, James Tallarico does have some good political views. Now, I ain't lying. For what it is. She had competition there. But, in my opinion, Jasmine Crockett was the better candidate. She's way more popular than he is. She's been around a lot longer. She's on TV most of the time. CNN, NBC, ABC, they review her all the time. James Tallarico is somebody like he comes in as a newbie, like a rookie coming in here. But Texas has spoken. They chose him to be in that seat for the House of Representatives in Texas, not her. So she did all this, and she took that loss. So Jasmine Crockett didn't think about where her loyalties lie. I'll be honest. Because they didn't toss her aside. The Democratic Party made it very clear that we want you where we want you to be at. You ain't gonna get no higher. You don't deserve to be in that spot, which I think she does because she's worked hard enough, but nah. But again, Jasmine Crockett was not looking out for black people. Okay? Now, let me get to Mr. Barack Obama. Him and his wife, Michelle. And this is what I understand about Barack. Now, allegedly, and from sources I've been listening to, I've been reading, there's been multiple people that have said this. Reverend Jessie Jackson and Barack Obama don't necessarily get along. They ain't never really was cool like that. It's been said, and when I found out that Jessie Jackson really didn't have that much, he really didn't respect and befriended Obama like that, or trust him all that much. during his time while he was still on this earth. Like I said, allegedly. I'm going to put that out there as allegedly. But here's what I'm trying to figure out about Barack. Because he led the charge. He started this. Because this is what I like about Barack. Barack feels he can do and say whatever he want to do. And people will still cheer for him. They'll still go along with it. Barack feels he has my people, our people, FBA's on a string. He feels he can do, he's above the law. He's above all rules. He can just do anything and never face backlash. Because Jessie Jackson's son said specifically, don't push no politics. What does Barack does? Go at Trump. Call out the Republican Party. Yet, he himself used ICE to deport way more illegal migrants, immigrants, than Trump has recently did. In the last year alone. There were even American civilians that lost their lives while Barack Obama, y'all, was president in both his terms, with Joe Biden at the helm as vice president. There's a picture of and video of Barack Obama giving Tom Homan a medallion for his services back then. I need people to understand that. And if y'all don't believe me, you can go back and research this yourself. We all got ChatGPT. We got access to Google. Barack Obama is a hypocrite. Straight up. You want to talk about contradictory? It's him. He can't get mad at Trump's behavior. Well, look what he's been doing. Barack need to check himself. Because one thing I can't say about Trump, Trump maintained a safe border when he was in office the first go around. And that's why I didn't like him. Yeah, I was one of the ones who was going at Trump during the first go around in 2017 through 2024. Until then, I had an epiphany until God started speaking to me. And I started seeing what the other side was doing. I have YouTube in my old YouTube video, my old YouTube channel of me going in on Trump and going in on other black people supporting Trump. But now, since I've seen things the way it is and where it's going, I have to rethink things. Now, I remind you, I'm going to let everybody know this now. I don't fully trust Republicans. I don't. I'm somebody who's registered as an independent conservative voter. I don't go for either side. But I can't be getting on the Republicans and not get on the Democrats. I got to hold both sides equally here. Okay? That's one thing I got to do. But what I'm trying to figure out is, this is the same Barack Obama who had the nerve to get on black men for not fully trusting Kamala. Wagging his finger, saying that, oh, we must not like black women. We just not want to see a black woman lead the country. Yet, he didn't have this same speech for Caucasian men. You don't see him doing this to Asian men. You don't see him having that same speech to the Samoan. People who look like Dwayne Johnson and Roman Reigns and Nia Jax from WWE. None of the Tongan people that are also living in this country and are voters, registered voters. The specific Islander community, he don't talk to them. You don't see Barack Obama addressing the Filipino community for not voting for Kamala. What about the Hispanic, Mexican, Cuban community? You don't talk to them. Why is it always us, Barack, that you talk down on? That's what I've been trying to figure out. But you want a nerve to go at Trump at the expense of Jessie Jackson's funeral? No. And this is the same Barack Obama that recently said last year in one of his podcasts that he did. I think it was an interview he did. And he had the nerve to say that our young men, our young boys, that men are raising, whether we're black or not, need to get advice from a man who is GAY, a man who is from the LGBTQ, or a trans man. He said this, which to me is kind of offensive to the men that are living a straight life and are raising their children to be straight, because the Bible says raise a child the way they should go. People have a right to raise their children the way they see fit while that child is under their roof until they get 18 in order and able to move out. There are men and women, right? There are parents that don't want their children living a certain lifestyle under their roof, especially the ones who have religious backgrounds, the ones that go to church. Whether you're a Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, Muslim, whichever religion you serve in, there are parents that are trying to raise their children straight. They don't want them going into this LGBTQ stuff, especially if they're not ready for that yet. But Barack insisted, especially for a black man, and me and myself who also got kids, we gotta, my thing is, never mind getting advice from the next door neighbor. You know, that deacon, that minister, that coaches these teams that's been married successfully for over 20 years, whose children have went to college and got degrees, that's been happily married. Don't get advice from them. Don't get advice from a godfather, your uncle, your grandfather, right? That's married to somebody's grandmother, whether they're still living or not. Obama didn't even try to encourage black men to be in don't encourage the man to be in the child's life. Don't encourage the man to stay with that mother and work things out, whether you are divorced or not. Just like we seen with Malik Yoba's character on New York Undercover. Yeah, him and his wife was divorced in that movie, but they got along for their child's sake that's played by George O'Gora II. Never mind that. Yeah, not encouraging the black man to stay out of jail, not cheat on the woman, but be there with the woman so they can raise their child together in a two-parent household. He didn't encourage that at all. No, you got to get your advice. You want a gay man, a man that's in love with another man. And I'm not knocking it at all. If somebody is same-sex, that's their choice. But not everybody may not want that. And not all men that are same-sex may not want to be given that advice because they don't have kids of their own. They didn't try to have kids. So you can't be using that for everybody. That does not apply to everybody. Obama knows there are people that believe in God like I do that's going to have a problem with that. Because it's against our beliefs. But again, that's our beliefs. That's what I was saying about Barack Obama. Why are you not encouraging black men to stop having children out of wedlock? That if they go have a child with a woman, they need to stay with that woman. It's too many single parents, single women out here raising children on their own, while the man is somewhere out there negligent, not around with their responsibilities. What Barack Obama should have did was encourage men to step up and be there for their children. Stop neglecting the woman. That's for the entire communities, no matter which color you are. But Barack says we gotta have our young men get advice from a man that's same sex, that's in a same sex relationship. And that really doesn't have anything to do with it. Because there are people that are same sex that's also raising children, whether they adopted them or had them through a surrogate woman or had them physically through another woman. But they not even trying to, somebody that same sex, your sexual orientation should matter when you're raising a child. That's what Barack Obama don't understand. That's what really made me mad with him. And then it's bad enough you got his wife Michelle, that when she was on Kamala Harris' campaigning for Kamala, she said that I agree with protecting a child's right to get themselves to have a sex change. And I'm trying to be polite here. I'm trying not to, I don't want to get no strike, but Michelle straight said this, that she's going to give children the right to have them change this. If a boy wants to be a woman, and a woman wants to be a boy, a young lady in elementary school or middle school wants to be a boy, they're going to protect them rights to do these changes without the parents' consent. She said this. Y'all forget that. Michelle Obama straight said that she's going to allow the children to make their own decisions without the parents' consent. When again, every parent is not going to agree to that. You're going to get backlash for that. But again, Michelle and Barack feel they are above what anybody says. They don't care what you say. They don't care what you think. They're going to say anything. The ones that pushes the agenda. And once again, like sheep, people keep falling for it. My people keep falling for it, which I'm getting tired of. Now, I represent the FBAs who got some sense. We're done. We're done with the nonsense. We're not having it no more. We're tired of the same thing. We're tired. And this is the same Barack and Michelle that have done more for the LGBTQ than they have for black people's rights. All our civil rights went to them, to that community. And again, that community, they have their place. They have their rights. But they have rights that are better, that benefit them better than us. Notice, you don't see them getting harassed by the police. You don't see an officer unaliving none of them innocently. You don't. Barack made it a duty to protect them. But when it comes to us and our issues, we don't get no laws that protect us. We don't get laws that stops people from saying the N-word. Non-black people from saying it. I don't say it myself because I don't want to say it to me. But we don't have those laws. Where's our anti-black hate law? We don't have that. No. And I'm going to get to Kamala because she made sure Biden passed an anti-Asian hate bill. But where's our bill that protects black folks? FBAs. From when we get persecuted out here. Huh? Where's our bill? Barack was not looking out for us while he was president. He had other things in place. So no, I can't accept that. Now, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, and I say this respectfully. There are Democrats that will get mad at this. I don't care. Joe Biden is the worst president of all time. Far worse than Trump. And this is what makes Joe Biden worse than Trump. Because he is the cause of all these issues right now. He is the main reason why Trump had to use ICE that has all this chaos. He opened up the borders. Because you can't name not one border. Anybody on the sound of my voice watching these videos that's on this live stream, you can't name me not one country, not one, in the entire globe, on all 7 continents, that has an open border policy besides America did these past 4 years. You can't. And go ahead, I'll wait. And that goes for the chat. Anybody that's going to hop on my comment section. Name me one country, whether that be Canada, Mexico, Europe, any one of the European countries. Asia, right? China, Japan, Ukraine. Okay? Says Trump was helping liberate Ukraine. And people still got mad at Trump because he's helping Israel out. But even Israel don't even have an open border. Neither does Egypt. Africa, they don't got open borders. Why does Biden open the borders up? And this is what I want to ask for Biden. All you Biden supporters, this is what I want to ask you, right? Because this has been, I'm getting serious with this. This is what I've been trying to figure out. For the life of me, I don't understand this. If he knew that he wanted to open up these borders, right, and give migrants a fair shot, because he feel, okay, immigrants helped build this country, which they really didn't. Foundational black Americans as slaves built this land, okay? But besides all that, indigenous people too that was also here before the immigrants came in. If you wanted to let immigrants in here, then why did you not pass an immigration reform bill? Let me say that one more time for the people in the back that can understand what I'm saying here. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, when they're in office, if they knew they was going to open them borders up, one of the first things they should have done, instead of trying to overturn Roe v. Wade, which that was a court's decision, the Supreme Court, that was the Republican Democrats that did that. We all seen that controversy. That was one of the first things that happened when Biden got in there. But if you wanted to open the borders up, why didn't he pass an immigration reform bill giving immigrants the rights to be in here legally and giving them citizenship? Thanks for coming on in. I'm still trying to figure that out. Because all this stuff with ICE, all these deportations that people have been protesting against, this could have all been avoided. People, because again, at the end of the day, y'all, whether you agree or not, whichever side of the fish you're on when it comes to these migrants, American civilians lost their lives. Now, Trump was saying was true. Remember, Trump was at them borders. Kamala Harris was the vice president. Joe Biden put her in charge of the borders. There, once you see Kamala at all regulating the border in them 4 years she was in there, except when it was time for her to campaign. But why didn't Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden pass an immigration reform bill to make these migrants legal? From the Haitians to the Venezuelans to the Mexicans, European, Ukraine, Canadians, anybody that came across these borders all that time. 4 years. They've been in there. From 2020 to 2024. Why didn't they pass an immigration reform bill? Huh? I still don't get it. I don't understand it. Unless they don't care about these migrants anyway. And they only care about money. Because these migrants, these immigrants, the ones who weren't in here legally got benefits. They got thousands of dollars of food stamps and cash aid. We seen all these Somalians, to the Haitians, all these immigrants getting housing that American civilians such as myself couldn't get, which had a lot of people complaining. Again, we watched the wildfires and hurricanes that hit the towns, the streets of California and Florida and Carolina. FEMA only give American civilians that lost their houses $700. But an illegal immigrant could get over $2,500. Why? How does that work? No, I don't get it. I don't understand it about Joe Biden. And Biden got the nerve to sit there and talk about Trump and criticize Republicans? No, Biden is the cause of all of this. The blood is on his hands. I'm letting everybody know that now. You can't get mad at Trump. Trump got to look out for the protection of America. Biden was not supposed to open up them borders. Because even Obama had closed borders off. Trump maintained what Obama did. From 2008 to 2012. From 2012 to 2017. They had closed off borders. Biden opened up them floodgates. And caused all these problems. All these children who got kidnapped. Who will never see their parents ever again. Parents who ain't going to see their children again. Over 299,000 children went missing because of these rinks, these trafficking rinks that happen. And y'all talking about Epstein Island. Okay? What about the immigrants that took part in these rinks illegally? I saw The Sound of Freedom with Tim Ballard. Well, Tim Ballard works with ICE agents to stop these operations of harming and hurting and molesting little kids. Selling them off overseas. Oh yeah. Tim Ballard. Go watch The Sound of Freedom. You see what I'm talking about. That movie came out in 2022. I saw it twice the week it came out. I took people to go see that movie. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Innocent civilians. Lincoln Riley. All these people. Losing their lives. To these illegal immigrants who are ungrateful here. Cartel members you let in. And by the way, ICE was also deporting terrorists that Iran sent here. See, the leader that Trump took out, he had people through these borders. Some of these people was coming in here. Thus, you seen the Palestine protests. They were radicalizing people. We see what's going on now. I did a YouTube video. I have a part 1 and part 2 on what's going on before you. Oh yeah, God warned me what was happening, what was getting ready to happen. Oh yeah, on my YouTube channel, which is ETV 1990, you can go look at that part 1 and part 2. I'm gonna make a part 3 real soon. I have no choice. I have to. Part 3 is in the works. It's coming. So I gotta let people know what's going on with Israel and Palestine and what this is really currently leading up to. I can't go into that now on TikTok, on this platform, because there's certain rules I gotta follow. But yeah. On my YouTube exclusive, I'm going to get more in detail to it. Because people need to know what's going on. But yeah, Biden, how dare you talk about Trump? How dare you? Can't talk about him. The one that y'all, his people be calling, the liberals be calling orange man. Oh, this ain't the orange man's fault. Trump was not in office that time. Nah, That was Biden. Sleepy Joe. Who fell asleep when he was asked a question what was going on in Maui. Them wildfires, right? People lost houses, lost their homes, and you only give them $700. That's not even enough to cover them for the entire month. That's not even enough for a down payment on an apartment. Nah. I'm sorry, man. He was the reason why these gas prices were so high. Y'all get mad at Trump all you want to. Biden had everything so high. Eggs and all that, or dairy, or fruit, all that. That was high because of Biden. And y'all want to get mad at this war with Trump. Trump didn't start this war in Iran. We was already in war when Biden was in here with Palestine and Hamas. Them attacking Israel, which again falls on Iran. Okay? So, yeah. Sleepy Joe, I'm sorry. I don't want to hear from him. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of him opening up his mouth talking. No. Sleepy Joe need to go somewhere and go sit down and go retire somewhere. He got no business in front of a stage talking like that after all the damage he's caused. Now, for Kamala Harris, who supposedly wants to run in 2028, which I'm going to vote against her. We ain't letting her back in. Oh, no. She the wrong one. All this, I told you so? Nah. Because who was she really telling? Because I do remember correctly when her and Biden tried to get a ceasefire going, that didn't work. They had money on Maduro. They had a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head. That didn't work. Maduro is captured when Trump gets in here. Trump is getting things done that Kamala Harris, while she was a vice president, and Biden, while he was president, couldn't get done. Now, this is the same Kamala Harris that when she became vice president, and remember, during the Democratic primary back then, in 2020 or 2019, she said all these things about Joe Biden being a racist, and he the KKK and all this other stuff, right? Well, she went on in him and joined him. And this is the same Kamala Harris that said, and I have the video up on my Instagram and in my Facebook. She said that she will never do anything that benefits black people alone. So FBAs, such as myself, that's been looking for reparations, fight for reparations, her and Biden didn't even pass it when it was presented to them. Okay? It's the same Kamala Harris that yet when her Indian people when the Indian community was losing money on their businesses, their funding, she passed a bill for $26 million that Biden signed off to help Indian businesses, East Indians, on their business. The ones who are Hindu. Okay? Them. For them to keep the gas stations, the 7-Elevens they run, all their businesses up and running. She passed that bill when she did not look out for black people, for the FBA at all. And by the way, for those who don't know, Foundational Black Americans is a lineage for people who were born in America whose ancestors came from slavery, like my mom's side of the family was, for example. But Kamala Harris was not looking out for us at all. Because again, when it comes to black-owned businesses, we got to suffer. We got to go through things the hard way. Kamala made it easier on her Hindu Indian people. Her Indian people. She made it easier on them. She looked out for that community. And the agents got an anti-agent hate bill. But there was no bill that protected Sonia Massey and Tyre Nichols. None of that happened. Forget the brother and the woman that's been voting for her. Nah. We get no incentive. We get no thank yous. Nothing. Yet when the woman lost to Trump in that election, that election night she lost, you don't see her out there talking to the crowd at all. She left them hanging. People that came all over to support her, she left them hanging. Went broke too, because she spent the $1 billion budget. She sit on the campaign, she used it all up, trying to please Beyonce, Magic Johnson, Cardi B, all these celebrities. None of that worked. Which, by the way, none of them voted for her because she was going to overtax the rich, like Zohar Mandani has been trying to do in New York. And you see how that's working out for him. That man been doing a horrible job. So this is what I'm going to say about Kamala. You want my people to trust you, but you did not look out for us. You don't care about us. You said in your own mouth, you will never do anything that benefits us. Because our rights and what we want does not include immigrants. It does not include the LGBTQ. Because everybody is not same-sex. Everybody is not gay or lesbian. Especially a straight single man like me, right? Who wants to raise my children, my family, a certain way. That does not benefit us. I need people to understand that. Especially the people that go to church. They're serving a God like I am, that you pray to every day and night. Oh yeah, and it's the same Kamala that told two people in her crowd when they said Christ is King, Jesus Lord. She told them, you at the wrong rally. You gotta go down the street. Oh yeah. She denied God in front of man. God said, if you deny me before man, I deny you access to the kingdom. You don't ever deny God in front of nobody. Because God is watching. That's the one sin the Lord Jesus Christ is not going to forgive nobody. Is denying him that he ever exists. I can't do that. No, I care about my soul too much to do that. No. But you see what we dealing with here. And again, like sheep, people keep falling for it. People keep defending her, man. I've gotten so much flack over the last 9 months because I chose not to vote for that woman I exposed her. I had family come against me, y'all. Friends. People call me names. I'm trying to be white and this and that and the other. Oh, it's crazy. But see, I'm going to take a stand for what I believe in and what I feel is right. And Kamala is not the woman to run the White House. She's not. She's the wrong one. She's way too biased. Kamala proved that she's not to be trusted at all. And I don't understand why anybody vote for that. And she wasn't going to get, she wasn't going to become governor of California either. There wasn't nobody going to vote for her. That's why she stopped doing it. Kamala was originally going to run for governor of California after Gavin Newsom stepped down because Gavin Newsom wants to be president. And Kamala Harris was thinking about replacing Gavin Newsom. But when Kamala found out that she ain't going to get no votes, she changed her mind. No. Anytime Kamala going to run for president, I'm going to vote against her. Like I voted against Joe Biden. People, it's time to wake up, y'all. What Jessie Jackson's funeral just showed us, that Democrats are not for black people. The same way black people don't like Republicans, the Democrats are not for us. They just not. It's time for us. I'm going to give a solution. Because Jessie Jackson said he wants people. Jessie Jackson Jr. said he wants people. He wants a solution. I'm going to give everybody a solution right now. And this is the only way that Democrats and Republicans will actually change their ways and rethink the way they run things for the White House. The best thing for us to do, foundational black Americans, and I can't speak for every community, but I'm just speaking up for my community, which is FBA. The best thing for us to do right now, because we are the sleeping giant. We make up a lot of the vote. We are the difference makers in these elections, these campaigns. There's midterms that are coming up in November, y'all. The Democrats use Jessie Jackson's funeral as a way to campaign because they're desperate right now. They fearmonger. Their tactic is fearmongering. They want to keep throwing shots at the Republicans, but them themselves are not doing a better job. The best thing for FBAs to do, and I want everybody to listen on the sound of my voice. And this is coming from the heart, y'all, because I love you. This is what I feel we need to do. It's time for FBAs, all of us, no matter which occupation we are, whether we're a celebrity, entertainer, athlete, 9-to-5ers, medical field lawyer, whichever job you work in, whichever career you're in, a student, it's time for us to vote for another party in the midterms. We don't need to be going Republican or Democrat. Yeah, I don't fully trust Republicans either, because I'm watching Trump, and I'm trying to see what Trump does for our community. Trump is trying, but I need to see more, because I'm not fully sold on Republicans. But I know I cannot trust the Democrats at all, and we've seen this. Because Barack, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris, I'm not going to mention Bill Clinton, because that man ain't been president since the 90s. And plus, what I like about Bill Clinton, and I gotta acknowledge this, Bill was honest when they asked him, because him and his wife Hillary was under investigation. They own that Epstein case. And when Bill was asked about Trump before I continue, Bill Clinton said that I don't think Trump comes off as a person that will do things to children, that will harm children in an Epstein island. You got to ask him that yourself. So I'm not going that hard on Bill Clinton because him and Hillary didn't win anyway. She was never going to beat Trump out. And Bill been impeached already for years. But for us foundational black Americans, and this is anybody that was born in America whose ancestors were slaves, right? Down the lineage. It's time for us to vote for another, a third party, another political party, whether it's an independent or not, to take that midterms in the White House. We don't not need to be voting Democrats anymore because Democrats do not have our best interests at heart. Neither does Republicans. If we all, as a whole, from Tariq Nasheed on down, if we all decide that we're going to vote for our own candidates to take those midterms that don't represent Republican or Democrat, they will have no choice but to take us seriously. Let me say that one more time for people who didn't hear this. Because things goes over people's head. People watch, but they don't listen. Listen closely with your ears. I need people to open up your ear gates. I need people to open up your ears, open up your eyes with your ears and your heart right now. For all foundational Black Americans. And even if you're not an FBA, let's say if you are Hispanic, Asian, Caucasian, anybody, right? This is for you. Those who don't want to go Democrat anymore. Because there are Democrats that are starting to wake up now. Okay? It's time for another party to run the White House. It's time for a third party to take over the midterms. When I'm speaking up for myself. What I'm finna do. Because I was taught to lead by example. It's what my Uncle Barry taught me, who's a pastor now. Pastor Barry Hankins, he taught me this. He said, Zach, always lead by example. And that came from my grandpa, rest in peace. What I'm going to do, I don't know what y'all going to do, but what I'm going to do, when I got to vote in the midterms, if there's another party that I can vote for, I'm going to vote for that party. And those candidates that represent that party to go into those midterms and take over for the White House. I'm not voting for neither Democrat or Republican. Because both sides need to change. There's too much, America is too much chaos right now. There's too much going on. And neither side has been doing that much of a better job. Republicans slightly better. Because Trump is clearly the better candidate than Biden and Kamala. But that's it. I don't trust J.D. Vance or none of them getting in here in 2028. I'm going to just be very honest. We're better off going with another party. Before I end this video and this live. It's time for us as FBAs to vote for a political party and a candidate that's going to do things by us as well as the other communities they look out for. No longer does FBAs going to be left out in the cold because the Democrats seem to not care about us at all. And you've seen that with Jessie Jackson's funeral. After all Jessie Jackson has done for the Democratic Party. After everything that man has done for the community. They couldn't honor that man by saying good things and talk about the memories. They got to make it about going at Trump. Going at Republicans. Nah, there's enough of that. That's out. Nah. Jessie Jackson Jr. had every right to call them out. Because they don't respect the black man and black woman at all. They don't. They want us to continue to be helpless. They want to continue to speak on our behalf, these liberals. I've been calling them out anyway because I'm getting tired of it. I'd had enough of it. So I'm letting everybody know now, it's time for all foundational Black Americans in every other community. It's time for us to, in these midterms coming up, we need to go third party. We need to go with an entirely different party. There's at least 200 other parties. I'm letting everybody know right now, you don't have to keep voting Republican and Democrat. You ain't got to keep putting these type of candidates in office. We have other political candidates. Okay? There was Robert F. Kennedy. There was Cornel West. We don't give them enough attention. There's other political candidates that represent other parties. Even the working class party. My aunt Sheila was telling me about. There's other parties that we could vote in here. It's time for another party to take over. No more of these Republicans and Democrats as of now. And once these Republicans and Democrats lose midterms to another party, they'll have to change. And they have no choice but to sign us off our reparations. That was long overdue for us. We've seen Native Americans get casinos. They get their own land. The 40 acres of mule, they get all that. We're seeing Hispanics, Asians, Pacific Islanders. Every community gets an incentive, but foundational Black Americans. Enough is enough. I'm tired of it. It's time for a change. And I say that respectfully. It's time for a change. It's tired of us doing these political parties favors. The Republicans and Democrats, we vote for them, and they're not doing nothing for us to show us that they're grateful. We get nothing in return. I'm sorry, y'all. The Democrats ain't going to do nothing for you. You got nothing coming from them. Sorry, man. I hate to have to tell you this. The truth is the truth. This is facts. The Democratic Party has made it very clear where their loyalties lie, especially Obama. Okay? Just look at what's going on with these immigrants, them protected immigrants, and look at the LGBTQ, how many rights they got. FBA's getting nothing. Absolutely nothing. Enough of that. That has to stop. That's the change. So the only way for them to take us seriously, we got to go third party. And I know that's easier said than done because people are set in their ways. The older generation, I'm sorry, but this is not the same Democratic Party. And I was raised Democratic. I grew up in a Democratic household. But the older I've gotten, the more wisdom I've gotten, and me having a deep relationship with my Lord and Savior, things have changed now. I've seen things. I see the light. I see what's going on behind that curtain. Nah, not for us. And I will never, ever be a Democrat ever in my life. I'm never going back. Like Kamala Harris said, we ain't going back. Oh, I'm not going back to them. Oh, no, Nope. So, if y'all don't believe me, go back and go look at Jessie Jackson's funeral. And look what Barack, Michelle, Joe Biden, what they was all talking about. Instead of talking about Jessie Jackson and making the funeral about him and his life and his accomplishments, because Trump was there for Jessie Jackson, which I explained in the video. Y'all can go back and go watch it. I explained the things that Trump has done for Jessie Jackson. Because before, and remember, this is when Donald Trump, our current president, was a Democrat. All these things with the Central Park 5 and the stuff that happened in the 80s and 70s, his family was Democrats. So you can't say he was a Republican his whole life. He's not a Republican his whole life, y'all. That's a lie. The man only recently went Republican when he decided to run back in 2016, 2017. Okay? But I want to let everybody know that I love you. This is to inform and educate. I don't mean no harm, but I got to tell people the truth because the truth shall set you free. It's time for FBAs to dominate a candidate that represents an entirely different party that's not Republican or Democrat. And that's the only way they're going to take us seriously. That's the only way we're going to get stuff done. That's the only way we're going to get our reparations. Okay? Because Democrats damn sure ain't working for us. These liberals, it's not for us, y'all. And I'm tired of people speaking on my behalf, telling me what I should or shouldn't do. No, it's my life. But I know what I'm going to do during the midterms. Now, you can do what you want, do what you like. People going to vote the way they're going to vote. I know what I'm going to do and what I'm voting for. And I know who I'm going to be voting against. And I know who I'm not going to vote for. Okay? It's time to go third party. And that's just all it is to it. But I hope everybody, and thank you everybody that joined this video and joined this live. Just watch this. I hope this was informative. But after Jessie Jackson Jr. called these Democrats out, yeah, I see what we need to do. Y'all take care. I love you. And I'm praying for everybody. God bless.